Hi. For this painting, we are going to paint upside down. So I want you to get a picture, a Xerox, color Xerox of Van Gogh's Starry Night. Van Gogh was a wonderful artist who lived back in the late 1800s, maybe early 1900s, and he did some beautiful work with a lot of texture. The brush strokes are beautiful in this painting. You can see how he used dashes and lines and shapes, and that's what we've been talking about. So we're going to turn his painting upside down, and we're going to paint what we see, starting with the shapes. I took some blue painter's tape and taped down this canvas paper to a board, and you can do that too. When you take the tape off after the painting is dry, you get a beautiful white border, white edge all the way around your painting, and that makes it really nice. So you're going to start with the big brush, the biggest brush you have, and you're going to draw the shapes. Well, at least this one shape. My paint is still wet, so you can see that it's still wet there. Maybe I'll take a little bit smaller brush, and I'm going to start with this dark piece that comes right in here, kind of in the middle, and it goes down this way. And even though I'm not really getting the paint on, I'm kind of scratching off some of the blue paint because that's not even dry yet. Let's see, I'm going to maybe put some lines in here, and I'm going to show, this is kind of neat because you don't need to use a whole lot of paint. I'm going to put a little white paint on and try to show some of these lines that are in the sky that are coming up here and the texture of those lines. I'm going to put circles where I see these bright stars. When Van Gogh sat up on the mountain looking out over the valley, he saw the swirls in the sky. He saw the moon up here. This is a big one, and a big crescent moon up here. And he saw all of these beautiful stars up. And you know what? He looked down in the valley, and he saw a little church way down here in the valley. There's the steeple of the church, and the roof of the church, and the sides of the church, and we've got another part of it over here, and I'm going to make that a little bit better when I start painting. There's another roof here, but he looked down in the valley. He was very sad because his dad had told him that he was a failure, and his dad didn't like the fact that he was an artist, and or actually Van Gogh was a missionary for a while, and his dad didn't like that either because he wasn't making a whole lot of money, and it's kind of a sad story, but you can read about him and you can watch movies about his life. But while he was up there on the hill looking down in the valley, he saw that there was a light on in the church and in some of the homes down there. And he said, gosh, I wish I had a really nice home to live in and a church to go to. And he was very sad. And you know, color has emotion. Color has a lot of times can make you feel a certain way. And when you look at this painting, it's all blue. And so you see that blue actually is sometimes a sad color, a quiet, a peaceful color, but sometimes sad. And I think Van Gogh was very sad when he painted this. So it's interesting to know the stories behind some of the paintings that we do. I'm going to take some more of this black and maybe some red, because I see a little bit of red in here too. And kind of looks like fire, but actually it's one of those cypress trees that grow over in Europe. And I'm not sure, I think he was probably in France when he painted this. So I know he was in Europe, but I'm pretty sure it might have been in France. And again, my blue paint is not totally dry because I'm probably trying to do this a little bit too fast. But it shows you how you start drawing, not with a pencil, but with a paintbrush. And you always start doing it, you're drawing with shapes. I'm going to do some dark places down here around some of these houses and around the church, and get it really dark down here at the bottom, which is actually the top because we've turned it upside down. So here we go. We're getting the dark in there. And then we're starting here and we're looking this way. We've got some really dark lines that are going through here. And it's a really dark blue up in here, almost a black. And then there's some shapes coming down in here, really dark. And it's hard to get it dark until it dries. It's going to be really hard to get dark in there. So I'm going to keep on working on some of these short brush strokes that Van Gogh did. Really dark. A lot of dark around the church. Now, you know, I'm getting in some of the big shapes, but I'm going to come back in and really work hard on this eventually. I'm going to come in here and get some really pretty shapes that go around some of these areas where it looks like the wind is blowing. You see the swirls that come up through here, and the strokes, the brush strokes that he used up in here. There's another one that comes up in here and goes down this way and back up. So I'm just kind of dashing, putting on these colors like this. Maybe coming in with a blue and doing some more, let's see, maybe some mountains back in here. They're upside down mountains. Some more mountains that are in here. Really dark blue mountains. Really dark in here. And then some of that same dark blue up in here again. So just going around dashes and dots. And then maybe some yellow. Let's switch to yellow. Now remember, we start very loosely. We don't try to get too tight, too exact at first. We're just trying to get the main idea of what's going on in the painting. I'm hoping it's a little bit drier now, because what's going to happen when I put yellow on if this is still wet? It's going to turn green. Yeah, and I'm seeing a little bit of green in here. So I'm going to have a little bit of problem because I'm trying to paint a little too fast. But you can see how I'm starting to put on these really pretty colors. I'm putting a dot in the middle, and I'm putting the colors on around these stars that are in here. I'm looking for shapes. One of the reasons I really like the idea of you painting and me painting maybe a little bit faster than what we should is because it causes you to not look at the detail. And not at first. At first, you really, really, really need to be looking at the shapes and the overall picture of what's going on in this, in whatever it is that you're painting. And so doing it quickly actually does have a few benefits. And you can always go back and make your painting a lot more detailed after it dries and as it is finished. I'm going to get a little bit of orange. Maybe it's looking like it's green. Let me wash the brush out. If you need to wash it out, dry it on a paper towel so that you don't have a lot of water in your brush. There's that big moon, that orange moon up in there. And I'm going to take some more yellow and put the yellow back in here and around that orange that is showing up in here. And let's see if I can go over the moon again and make it a little bit bright. It's still turning green. Not a good idea. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to show you what this looks like. Don't take it off the easel and look at it until you are finished. I'm not really finished on this, but I'm going to show you a little bit about how at least it's starting. When you get it so that you've got most of the shapes done, one more thing I want to do before I turn it around. I really love that little church. And so I want to get that steeple in really well so that I can see where that steeple is. That is so pretty. And the roof. And there's two roofs over here. And there's a door right here. That is right there. And so yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm not looking at it really good. So what I'm going to do is at this point, you can turn it around. And you can now that you've got most of your shapes in there, if you can see it, it's a little green. It's not as yellow as what I need it to be. I'm going to stop and let it dry. And so, but you've got your shapes. So you're ready to, after it dries, you've got a pattern. This is kind of a value pattern, just a pattern of where everything is. And then you can go in with your colors. A little bit better oranges and brighter colors, and look a little bit better at some of the details, and get in your let's get some white going in here. Some of the white that's actually in, and that's not white either. Yeah, trying to go too fast. And then work on the little church, get your details in, get your tree even darker, really black and red together. I didn't get it on there dark enough because I'm not really washing my brush out really well between uses. And I know you can probably do a whole lot better. And you can definitely work on this right side up. But always try to start your paintings upside down so that you can see the shapes and the pattern better. It's still not, it's not working really well. But you can see what I did there, and try it, give it a try. Try to get your upside down painting done quickly. This tree, this whole tree needs to be much darker. So get your blacks on. After you do one color in your background, get your blacks on and then your midtones, and then your whites or your really light colors. Give it a try. Let me know what you did.